Welcome to the Easy Allies. Ooh, I think it actually kind of had like a little pause there. I'm going to restart.
Okay.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Easy Allies Community Podcast, Episode 3. I know it's been a while since the last one. I've been super busy with college and whatever, and now that summer is finally here, I can just have some free time. So I have some guests on the show. My name's Wade, by the way. I have some guests on the show. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
I'm Wayne, otherwise known as W. Lucha.
I'm Adam. I go by Okoa on YouTube and Twitter and such.
And
Thanks for having me, by the way.
Yeah, this is just a fun time, so I'm not like. But apologies if you can't see Adam's screen. YouTube, Google's being really weird, so I don't really know what's happening.
We're kind of this is gonna look like in export.
Yeah, we've been experimenting for the past like 15-20 minutes, and we just can't get it to work. So we're just kind of rolling with it. You know, if you can hear them, and it's a podcast, so you know.
Hope you can hear me.
Yeah, hopefully everything is not just a garbage truck on fire. But this is the Easy Allies Community Podcast. This is a podcast where I just have members of the Easy Allies community on, and we just talk about whatever. It's basically, I would describe it as just Frame Trap Light, you know, just it's not going to be 4 hours long, but you might be sometimes, you know, who knows.
Super cozy.
Yeah, it's just cozy vibes, fast and loose.
Right on.
This is I was actually been thinking about it. I was kind of just wanted to spitball it if you guys would be willing to listen. I was actually thinking about reformatting it and just calling it like a community podcast, like not necessarily tied to Easy Allies, but where maybe I have members of other communities on, or like two different communities on at the same time, and just kind of like, because it's not necessarily about Easy Allies necessarily.
Right.
I'm just kind of using Easy Allies as a platform in which to find people to talk about, you know, people who might watch the Easy Allies podcast and say, hey, I want to be on something like that sometime. Maybe not host one, but just be on it every once in a while. So I thought this is a great way to just shine a light on not only like not expose, that's kind of a negative word, but just shine a light on the community, the Easy Allies community specifically, just because I think it's one of the best, like if not the best. Like
if not the best, yeah.
Absolutely the best.
I'm in a like I'd say the best I've been a part of is like this and Game Attack, and I know Game Attack's not as well known, but Game Attack's also is very I wouldn't say like positive the same way Easy A is, where it's like everything is fine and dandy, but definitely more warm and welcome. Like it's a family, kind of like this one is, you know.
Absolutely.
But I was curious, like, what do you think makes Easy Allies so special? Like, what makes them so endearing to the community? Because I didn't watch them until after they like GT stopped existing.
Yeah.
And then I saw they were coming back. I'm like, hey, I've heard good things. I'll check them out. So I was curious what other people's thoughts were as to like why Easy A is just so fun to watch and so charming.
I was thinking about this actually a couple days ago, why I like them so much. And I think it's because there are so many of them. I mean, there are 9, and they all have different perspectives and interests and passions.
You get that variety.
Video games obviously are the thing that ties them all together, but in terms of fans, I mean, people latch on to a certain personality, and I think the more they have, the easier it is for so many people to get together and say, we support them. It's just, I mean, I like all of them, but there are some people who are diehards about Huber, or diehards about Ian, you know, and that's just the way it is, and it works.
Yeah, they always say like there's a YouTube personality out there for everybody, but I think Easy Allies specifically gives viewers the pleasure of having 9 different YouTubers at the same time. So it's like, you know, they always say like, if you don't like my channel, go find someone else. So like Easy A can say, if you don't like this video, watch this video instead.
Absolutely.
No, I mean, I think that's a fair critique. I mean, if you don't like something that one of them does, then you can just check out one of the other 8.
If you don't like Easy Update, watch Huber Syndrome. If you don't like Huber Syndrome, watch the reviews. If you don't like the reviews, watch the group streams. You know, it's like, you know.
Yeah.
But Adam, I was curious what your thoughts were as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, back in GT, I got attached to the Final Bossman. I really connected with that, and yeah, I think it's that connection that you really resonate with someone's like taste and stuff. You know what I mean? And yeah, like you said, there's 9 different people. I think the best the best like representation of that was their Hall of Greats, which is one of my favorite
Tomorrow,
things they've ever
tomorrow's
done.
a new one.
Yeah. Oh, is it tomorrow?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did a vote for
I
Patreon.
saw that. Yeah.
Thing like,
Yeah.
should we have like packaged videos? Should we just do a lecture? I voted videos because I think that'd be interesting. But
I
anyway,
want
I'm interested.
PowerPoints.
I wanna see it.
PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
That's what I want.
here's why Dark Souls is one of the greatest games of all time. Reason
Get
why.
me a laser pointer.
Flowchart.
Yeah, get me a laser pointer as well. I'm all in.
But yeah, sorry, Adam, what were you saying about Hall of the Greats?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Like, I don't think they had a contingency for what would happen if two people brought up the same game. It's amazing that didn't happen. You know what I mean? It's how diverse everyone is.
Except
And
there was Dark
I just
Souls
think-
and Bloodborne, I think. So I mean,
Yeah, that was like
that's as close as it'll get.
the
Yeah,
overlap.
it's
Yeah.
just so fascinating seeing them all not only like develop their own personalities, but grow into those personalities. Where like
Mhm.
you as a viewer adapt with them. Like you'll watch a frame trap and be like, okay, Bloodworth, Ian, Huber, and Ben are on this. Ben will say something that's like, oh, I know how Ian will react to this, or I know how
Yeah.
Bloodworth will react to this. I just respect them all so much, and like
Mhm.
I know Ian is pretty polarizing to a lot of people because he is very much like, I have my own tastes and they might be weird, but I'm not disparaging again. Like I'm not saying your tastes are wrong. I'm just saying I like Last of Us, for example. Like, it's like
Yeah.
I don't like Last of Us, but I understand why people do, you know. Whereas
Yeah, I
I'm
think
kind
that's
of
the
the
most
same way about
respectable
games too.
part. Yeah, yeah.
I'm the same
And
way
that's-
where it's like I like The Witcher, but I'm not like, oh my god, The Witcher, you know.
Absolutely, yeah. I
No,
think that's another reason that people connect with that. It's that not my thing, but enjoy it, right?
Yeah, there's
Cool.
a fine line between, critiquing somebody or deciding to go somewhere else to watch something. And I feel like even if you did like find like Ian polarizing, he's not the only one.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
not going to pull up their Twitch stream and be like, well, I'm not watching this because Ian's all over the place. Like there's a schedule. You can check out something else.
You know, if you don't want to watch Damiani's live reactions to the new Final Fantasy XIV
Yeah.
expansion, you can, wait a couple hours and, whatever.
I turned it on this morning. I said, I'm not really in the mood to watch this. Turn it off. Not because I hate them or anything, but I just wasn't feeling it today. So
Like I love me some Damiani, but what he's doing isn't necessarily interesting to me. But I'm willing to wait for his Final Fantasy X stream or something.
Right. And I do encourage people who don't connect with Ian to watch some Easy Update.
Mhm.
That's some really interesting stuff.
I love this one with
puts out.
Huber.
Yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, that was like legit. And the song at the beginning was like,
that was so interesting. Yeah.
No, and the one more thing about Ian. I mean, when I started watching game trailers, Mandatory Update was my jam. I would watch it every week. When a new one got posted, I was in it. I thought it was hilarious every single time. Just something about his humor I connect with. And I don't find him as polarizing. I just view him as a human being that people dig or don't dig.
Yeah. Once you get used to the allies, you start to just realize like that's just the way they are, and I can agree with them, or I can disagree and get mad, or I can disagree and just move on. It's
yeah.
No one's
It's that
forcing me to
connection.
listen.
Yeah.
And like
Mhm.
it's all part about building that foundation on like love and respect. I think is like honestly, I think sorry, there's some stuff popping on my computer, but honestly, I think it's like one of I know Kind of Funny tried and it kind of failed, but like calling everyone like best friends and everything, and it worked until a point when your audience grows a little too big and like all these kind of toxic people come in and start eating it from the inside, and like it was such a shame to see that with Kind of Funny, because there was a point where I think Kind of Funny was the greatest community on the internet, where everyone was just like, yeah, let's like we're a family and whatever, and then all this stuff started happening and it got bigger, and then the whole Colin thing, whether you agree with it or disagree with it, happened, and that just tore it apart even further, and now it's even more polarizing. It's like it almost weeded people out, which is almost best for Kind of Funny, but at the same time there's that disconnect that I kind of feel now, where it just doesn't feel the same. Whereas Easy Allies is like I'm a little afraid like if that love and respect is going to run out at some point, but just living in the moment for now, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going anywhere.
Yeah, we'll be here,
Yeah.
Love and respect will always live with the OGs.
I mean, with love and respect, I know Jones had said like he was worried a little bit about that phrase simply because he didn't want it to feel like you couldn't critique something or
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and it's I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, but you can be respectful of someone if you don't agree with them. If you don't like something one of the Easy Allies is doing, you can be polite and critique and communicate like a human being.
Like a human being, yeah.
Like I saw this stupid 4chan thread that someone shared on the Facebook group, and I know it's 4chan and it's garbage, whatever. But I was just looking through because I was interested. Man, like, holy crap! Like,
I didn't even waste my time.
Make Damiani do this, make Bossman do this, make blah blah blah. It's just like you can't make them do anything. Because that's why Easy Allies is great. Is because they're doing this because they want to, not because they feel like they have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you hate something that much, just don't watch anymore.
Yeah, and it's like, if you hate it so much, then why are you critiquing it?
Yeah.
Like, shouldn't it just be bailed out? Like, why do you want? Like, I want it to be good. It's like, well, if you want something to be good, you should phrase it politely in a more respectful manner. You know, put it somewhere where they'll actually see it. And, you know, treat them like a human being that will actually, because I think Ben said on like a Frame Trap or something where he's like, I see these mean comments and like they'll have a point, but it still hurts. You know, it's like, I see what you're going for and you're right, but I almost want to not do what you're telling me to do because you made me angry and I don't want to make you feel like you did something that changed me. Like, that's the way I am too. It's like, if someone's like bitching me out or something, I almost want to not do it out of spite. Just like, so say something like, hey, I see some potential in this. I don't necessarily like it now, but if you try this, then maybe it would be better. And it's like, hey, thanks for that advice. I'll try that out next time. Like, that's how you have a conversation. Not just
being like, I hope you get fired. I hope you die. I hope, no, like, come on, be normal.
Like, making fun of someone, making fun of someone's looks or their personality or anything, it's not going to help anything.
No. Quite the opposite.
It's just that it only makes someone want to do the reverse of that.
Yeah.
That's why I think love and respect is so important. Yeah, because you can be critical of something, but you can also at the same time be positive and respectful, about it. That's where I think love and respect matters, is because I can say I don't like Dragon Age, I hate Dragon Age, I think it's boring or whatever, but I can at least appreciate why people do like it or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that's where you be critical of something, but you're also positive, saying, hey, not for me at all, but if you love it, more power to you.
Yeah. And I can say it feels good to know someone else finds Dragon Age to not necessarily be enthralling.
Yeah, again, I was watching, I don't want this to be just shit on Kind of Funny podcast, because I legitimately love Kind of Funny, but I was watching their Gamescast about Call of Duty World War II, and I'm just like, guys, you guys don't care about Call of Duty. You guys don't know anything about Call of Duty. You guys don't know anything about the source material of Call of Duty World War II. I'm like, you guys are not fit to have this conversation. You all have the same opinion. It would have been much more interesting conversation if you had someone on there who was a diehard Call of Duty fan, who couldn't care less about Call of Duty, who was mildly interested, but was kind of on the fence. Instead, you had three people who just didn't care, and it's like, I care, so this conversation does nothing for me. So I'm out.
Yeah.
So I was curious, if there are games out there for you guys where you feel like you're kind of either alone in disliking or alone in liking.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
How about Adam? You go first.
Let's see. I'll tell you. For games,
it could be anything, really. I don't care.
Okay. I kind of like the movie Sucker Punch. I kind of like that movie. You know what I mean?
Uh-oh, I think we lost Wayne.
Oh, not here.
No?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I'm listening very intently.
Okay. Your camera was frozen on. It looked like you were frozen on my screen. Sorry. So Sucker Punch then.
Yeah. I kind of like that movie. I get where most of the people are coming from. I don't really like the ending, and I agree that probably would have been better being in the fantasy world exclusively. Not even worry about the prison setting. But I don't know. I kind of dug it, and I love the songs,
It's all about Batman versus Superman, which is funny because both Zack Snyder. Where I'm like, I totally, you can, every single criticism, I'll be like, yep, 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 and then I'll watch it and I'll be like, man, that was awesome. You know, it's like I don't know, I'm just weird. You know.
Yeah. It's one of those things where maybe you do agree with the criticisms, but it doesn't break it for you.
That's how I am about Assassin's Creed too. Like a lot of you, like Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed. Like you can tell me every single reason why you hate that game, and I'll agree with every single point, but I still love those games. It's just
yeah.
It's that's the way I am with all the Assassin's Creed games. Like I'm gonna dive into it no matter what, because I committed to following the story to whatever end it's gonna come to.
I committed 5 years ago. Like I'm still going.
Yeah. If I give up, I will feel left out, and it will bug me to no end. So people can say, people can say everything's awful. They hate something about it, and I'm still like, yeah, but I'm still gonna beat that game.
That's how I felt about Neo, though. Like, I nothing against Neo. It's just I missed that train, and I still have yet to play it. I'm just like, I would have really loved to have been a part of that conversation, but I can't now. But
yeah, I'm playing it for the first time. I'm on board.
I'm playing Zelda right now. I missed that. Like I just started Zelda like this week, so I just got a Switch. So.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Awesome.
I'd say one game that I actually just started playing is The Witcher 3.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah, I bought it when it was super on sale.
Yeah.
You can always tell how committed you are if you're going to wait until it's like slashed like 55% or something before you pull the trigger on it.
Yeah.
And I can't motivate myself to really sit down and just like push through. I'll sit, play for a little bit, get bored. I don't know if I'm missing something, if I'm just not the player for the game, but I just can't commit to it. I'm trying, but I can't commit.
I'm one of those weirdos that like Skyrim more than Witcher, and everyone's like, "What? Skyrim is so buggy. The graphics are bad. The NPCs and the side quests are so uninteresting." I'm like, I don't know. It's for me, it all comes down to world. Like, if I don't find the world interesting, I just don't find the game interesting. So like, Dragon Age, Witcher, I just don't find the worlds interesting. But Skyrim, I'm like, yes. I love this world. I love the lore. I love everything about it. Whereas, again, Witcher, I'm just like, this world isn't really too interesting to me. I don't care about the monsters or the lore. It's a fun game, but the combat's kind of like, once that like thought sets in, you start kind of criticizing it a little more. Whereas a game of Skyrim, since I love the world and the lore so much, you're willing to overlook the glitches and the kind of fetch questy side quests, or whatever. It's just like, I just love the environment, so I'm willing to sink some time into it. Play it twice for over 200 hours both times. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. It's a weird thing. You can't always identify why you connect with one thing, but not another. Like, even though they're kind of similar in tone.
Yeah. It's like, by all means, I should be all about Witcher, but I'm just not.
I'd say one game for me that was really polarizing was The Last Guardian. I
haven't played it yet.
Okay, well, I will say this. The controls were a little frustrating, and I understand some people are like, that's part of the game. But the story sold me on it 1,000% to where I'm like, that's one of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah, like I love it when you can just overlook things. Because I think something that a lot of people, I've seen a lot of negativity around the internet, and I think the reason just like everything, like criticizing everything, like Assassin's Creed sucks because it's controls, Last Guardian sucks because it's the stupid animal AI or whatever. It's like, for me, if a game is good enough, I'm willing to overlook any flaws it has, like Assassin's Creed or Watch Dogs or like Persona 5, or like Morgana's telling you to go to bed. I'm like, I don't care. I'm loving this game so much. At the end of the day, I would still give it a 10 out of 10. Whatever.
Yeah. The thing is, you don't know, because you hear Last Guardian has bad controls. You hear that and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound like a good game.
This isn't Game of the Year.
Yeah. But
Easy Allies, what are you talking about?
You experience it. You play it for yourself. You try it out, and you kind of see how it each other with all the elements connect. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really know a game until you've actually sat down and played it. You can judge all you want, but until you actually sit down with a controller in your hand and play it, you just don't know. But it's hard these days because games are, they cost money. So you can't just sit down and play Resident Evil 7 day one, or you can't play Horizon day one because I just bought a Switch or whatever. I bought Horizon right away. But, but it's like, it's easy to be an armchair critic when you haven't played the game and you just see a video, because when you're watching a game being played, you can definitely see because I've watched the the Sony E3 2016 conference a million times. And like you're watching that God of War demo, it's like, oh, I see clipping there. I see clipping there. Not perfect or whatever. And it's just like when you're watching a game being played, you see the flaws more. But when you're playing it and you're having a good time, you're willing to overlook those things.
Yeah. Honestly, clipping has never bothered me. I can't think of a game where clipping has really bugged me like to a significant degree.
Yeah, like the only games that like don't have clipping are like Naughty Dog games, but that's only because Naughty Dog they're a god tier developers.
Yeah. Have millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I'm worrying about clipping, then I'm not in the game for the right reasons. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, people were upset that Destiny 2 is going to be 30 frames per second on PS4 and PS4 Pro. I'm just like, hey, if the game's fun, I don't care, you know.
Yeah.
Frame rate's nice and all. Like, I love me a good 60 frames per second, but if it is a really pretty game and is fun at 30 frames, then yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Enjoy what you want to enjoy.
Mm-hmm. I was actually that's kind of an interesting segue. Did you guys watch the Destiny 2 reveal?
I did not.
Okay.
I saw the story trailer. I think.
So you guys only have what are your thoughts on just Destiny as just a game in general? Like positive, negative?
Okay with it. Yeah. I played it. I mean, I played the vanilla campaign through to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Player,
it doesn't take very long.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm all right with
it.
What
You, Wayne?
I haven't actually played Destiny at all.
Okay.
Yeah, it never really seemed like something that I could invest my time in. And with a game like that, I'm gonna jump in and never jump out.
Yeah,
I can just tell. So
that was me. 2014. I got it. Oh my god! If you looked at my play counter, it's terrifying. It's like I want to say like 400 hours total of Destiny across all three characters. I think like a good 300 went into just my hunter alone. Like I played the game a little bit. Like, because fall 2014, there wasn't anything else that came out around that period that really grabbed me. So that was all I played all fall and all spring the next year. And then the 2015 game started coming out. I'm like, okay, finally I can put Destiny on the shelf. But then Taken King comes out that year, and I jump back into it. I'm like, oh, it's amazing. Better than the first campaign. It's like I loved Destiny 1, but it's another game where it's like I understand every criticism about it. It's boring when you're playing alone. The campaign's too short. Why is all the lore in Grimoire cards that you have to access through a phone app? Or it's just like, I don't care. I'm having fun. It's just fun. It's just fun to walk around, hold L2 and press R2 a bunch of times, until something dies.
Yeah.
It just feels good.
It is.
But then I watched this Destiny 2 reveal, and I'm just a little disappointed because I love Destiny. I'm excited for it regardless, but it just looks like it doesn't look like it earns that 2 at the end for me. It just looks like it could have been
expansion.
It really looks like it could have just been a $60 expansion to Destiny 1. It looks a little prettier. It has a ton of new guns, tons of new armor, new types of enemies and locations and planets and whatever, but it has the same UI and the same loading screens, and I'm fighting the same races of aliens that I've been fighting earlier, and I have the same classes, and everything's just, I'm like, there's nothing here that really shakes it up, it's Destiny 2. It just feels like more Destiny but better, which is whatever, but I'll pay $60 for it. But I'm just I'm a little nervous because I don't it looks like they learned their error, the mistakes they made, but at the same time I don't. There's no way of knowing because they already announced buy the expansion pass and get 2 expansions. It's is this going to be like vanilla Destiny where the first campaign is 3-4 hours long and then the rest is just DLC? I don't know. Sorry, that was all just a tangent. I know you guys don't.
Not at all.
I can totally understand the whole earning your 2. I used to play MMOs back in the day, in the late 90s, and those things would go 6-7 years before they would say, maybe we need to make something new. People have been playing this thing for way too long. Let's make something brand new. It doesn't feel like it's gone the distance to deserve a 2 if you're not going to completely revamp everything. I haven't watched any of it, but if it's literally just you're the same monsters and maybe a different.
one thing that is like, I'm like, okay, yes, Bungie, you did a good. Was it looks like their campaign is more focused around. It's a solo campaign that you can play co-op rather than the first game where it's a co-op campaign you can play alone. I'm like, yes, thank you, Bungie, because there are people out there who like to play alone, who don't always have access to friends online all the time, you know. So it's just nice to see that they're going a more cinematic direction instead of just run around with friends. Like, well, what if I don't have friends available at the moment? You know, it's like, so thank you, Bungie. Thank you. I know you're not watching this, but thank you.
If you're watching this,
you did a good job. But yeah, there was a. Sorry, I just wanted to talk about Destiny 2 just because I needed to get my thoughts out there. So sorry if I kind of just brought you guys along for that.
No.
I love Destiny, so I feel really passionate about it.
It's good passion.
I'm one of those guys. But there was another. There's another announcement today, where it was a teaser, but it was an announcement for Far Cry 5, and they'll show more. I think it was on May 26th, but. I don't know, like, what your guys' experiences with the Far Cry franchise. Like,
played Far Cry 4. I really liked that one. That's the only one I've done, but
okay,
yeah, I really dug it.
Same here. Played Far Cry 4. Really dug it. Loved just how insane everything felt.
Yeah.
So knowing that there's another one coming out, it feels really good because I hope that they continue to be kind of a little bit more outside of the box with their games.
You see the guy mashing that dude's head against the bell, and you're just like, okay, this is a Far Cry game. This is definitely a Far Cry game. I played 3, 4, and Primal, so like I am a Far Cry fan. Like I love Far Cry. So I haven't played 1 or 2. I really want to play 2 at some point. 1 is kind of a different game than the others. Like it's more of like an open world FPS than like a more like stealth. Well, it's stealthy, but like. More of an RPG style, whereas like 3, 4, and Primal were, where you like level up and you get skills and whatever. I'd be interested in 2, but 5, I love the setting of 5, how it's modern day Montana. You know, like you would never think that for an open world action stealth RPG, like first person shooter or whatever. You know, it's like you totally like what Montana, but then you realize like, wait a second, America is a humongous place. Like people don't give America. Well, people don't give America enough credit, but people don't realize that like United States of America is a giant place. Like there is so much space. I live in Nebraska. Let me tell you, there is a lot of space. There's a lot of untapped wilderness. So to have it set in Montana and you're being chased by like who knows what, and I just love that. It's like modern day Revenant, where you're just a dude trying to survive in America.
I feel like I want more games in America, like the setting to be in America.
Games in America, but it feels almost empty.
It does. I mean, like I think about like Assassin's Creed 3. Like I go to Washington D.C. like every 5 years. So all those places I visit in that game, some of them tick off like, oh, I recognize that. That triggers something in my brain. I love the idea of a game being set in the U.S. I feel like it makes it a little more unpredictable. I mean, how are they going to make it? Yeah, how are they going to make this game work? And I know that they obviously have some plans, but I'm excited to see how they lay the story out, how it progresses.
Because the rumor is that you're like a rogue cop that like went in search of like these bad guys in the middle of Montana, and like you're completely out of like your police station's like jurisdiction or whatever, and you're just stranded in the wilderness trying to survive. It's like
sign me up.
Yes. Because like I said, there are plenty of games that take place in America, but nothing quite feels like this, where you're just it's a giant open world in America. You just never think of that like as something that should exist, but you know, look at how much space there is in Montana. That could totally exist. We just totally it's the most genius move on Ubisoft's part. Just be like, hey, there's a lot of space here. Let's just use it. No one would ever think of doing it.
No, that's the best part. It's not some far off country where the cultures will be different and you won't.
It's something real that you can go to right now if you wanted to. Like it's something it's like, you know, a few hundred miles in my backyard, but it's still in my backyard.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
Uh-huh.
What are your thoughts on that, on Adam? Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you were saying about size, not just America, but Montana. Montana by itself is bigger than most countries.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of space to mess with.
Mhm.
So that's
Yeah.
really interesting. I'll keep my eye on that game for sure.
Yeah, I love Far Cry, so anything, because I think Far Cry is one of Ubisoft's most just consistently good franchises.
Mhm.
Like every game is just yes,
Yeah.
like even Primal. I really like Primal. I think it would have been better if it was toned down a little bit and made like released at a $40 price point. I really think that would have done the game a better service because it is kind of a spin-off. Because it's not Far Cry 5, it's Far Cry Primal. So, but they're very polished usually. They tell very good stories. Except Primal was kind of weak, but it's kind of hard when you're doing it long ago. You can't really do much.
Yeah.
You can't really do anything too complex. They have awesome
dialogue.
Yeah, they have awesome, like stealth action gameplay. It's like 3. I love 3. Like I'd recommend going back and playing 3 for like both of you because it's so good. Like I think it's better than 4, but I loved 4. But yeah.
Yeah. I heard a lot of complaints that 4 was very similar to 3, like almost too similar.
Yeah, it's just like different location, new characters. That's
Mhm.
about it, But hey, it's one of those series where I'm like, hey, if you just give me more of the same in a new place, I'm good with that,
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm down with
absolutely.
the new one. I hope that we get to see some gameplay.
Oh, we absolutely will at E3.
Starts peeling back some of the layers of it so we can really get into it.
I bet like the reveal later this month will just be like just to establish character setting, like just everything that you need to know. And then I wouldn't be surprised if we get a demo at E3. And then Assassin's Creed and all that. But what else was there? I mean, I actually want to talk about E3 a little bit. Oh yeah, I was talking to Wayne about this earlier before we started recording about how to. This is a very like jumping. This is not a segue at all. This is a completely new topic. Sorry, it's a little like whatever. But I just really want to talk about it. It's the importance. I don't want to make any predictions, but it's like the importance of how an E3 press conference is structured, the order in which things are going. Like, what do you open with? What do you pad it with? What do you pace it with? What do you close it with? So I forgot. I made like a prediction of how Sony is gonna what they're gonna announce and in what order this year. But I was curious of like if you guys noticed at all, like last year, like open with God of War, like holy crap, and then you show what was after God of War? Was it
Days Gone?
Yeah, it was Days Gone, and then it was Detroit, I think, and then Resident Evil. No, they I don't remember. They did like VR, and then it ended with Resident Evil, and then Call of Duty, and then
and then it was Death Stranding at some point.
Yeah, Crash, Spider-Man. Like
I think Death Stranding was later. Yeah,
It was Death Stranding, then Spider-Man, then the demo for Days Gone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was just like hit after hit after hit.
So like
that was,
and then you look at Ubisoft's conference last year, and you spend. I don't know. I mean, it was not a bad conference compare like relatively. It was like a good conference. It was just paced terribly. Like we're spending 30 minutes to like on like one game or like on one thing, and you're just like. I'm done with this. Can we please move on? I'm already sold on like Ghost Recon. I'm already sold on like South Park or whatever. Just let's keep moving it along, And like, I think it just shows the importance of pace. So, I think Sony's conference last year is just a textbook just a textbook case of how to do an E3 press conference. So my question is like that was a long preface, but. My question is like, do you think EA, do you think Microsoft, do you think Ubisoft, do you think they'll learn from Sony's conference, or do you think they'll just keep doing what they're doing?
I want everyone to tighten up. I mean, with these publisher conferences, I don't want anything more than like an hour of just hit.
That Sony conference is only 60 minutes. It's like
I know that's the best part.
Like,
They cram so much in there. Yeah, and that's the problem when you watch some of these conferences. Like the EA one was so brutal to watch.
You open
Like-
with Titanfall 2, you're like, yeah, this is gonna be a good conference, and then you don't get anything you want. It's sports. Oh, Star Wars, it's a dev doc. You're just like, God, please. And then it's Battlefield 1, but only like 30 seconds in the trailer. You watch the full version of that trailer at the end of this like 10-minute speech about Battlefield 1.
So awkward.
Why did they
It's just
do
so
that?
Like,
awkward.
what? Like, and then they show the same trailer again the next day at Microsoft's conference.
Microsoft. Oh.
Like, I'll never forget Jones going, "You can't change the trailer." It's like, what are you guys, EA? Stop. But yeah,
No,
it's like-
I don't know. I just feel like they don't deserve to go that long.
I'd say the max should be like an hour and a half. Like that's all
Yeah.
you get.
Like,
Yeah.
I love Bethesda's when they revealed the release date for Fallout 4. It was
Like,
like,
just a 30-minute
oh,
bonanza. But that made
Oh,
sense because we
it's
had never
so good.
seen that game before. Like
Yeah.
we didn't like we knew it existed, but we didn't see it. We didn't know anything about it. We didn't know where it was, what it looked like when you played it, like the mechanics, whatever. So just to have a 30-minute blowout of this thing you've been waiting for since New Vegas, like yes, that's when you spend 30 minutes on one game, not 30 minutes on South Park, The Fractured Butthole. Like as goofy as the game is, we got Matt Stone and Trey Parker, but it's like you don't spend 30 minutes on a game that we already know what to expect of. you know?
Yeah.
let E3 can be the place where you show just a little bit of it, and then you can follow up on it as you're getting closer to the release date.
I
mean,
really respect devs who announce their stuff like Ubisoft's doing right now with Far Cry, where it's like, and Bungie with Destiny. It's like, just get it out of the way a week or two in advance of E3, and then once E3 comes, it's like, hey, you already know about this thing. Now we can expand on it a little more. We can show a demo. We can show a trailer. We can talk about it. Like the exclusivity deals, as stupid as that stuff is. Like, it's like that's the stuff you do in an E3 conference, not. You don't show this game that you already talked about 2 weeks before that we already know exists, and then spend another half hour on it. It's like, no, don't.
sit down interviews are the worst.
Oh yeah.
They are the worst when you're
And then that
watch.
was all of Ubisoft's conference was sit down
Oh,
interviews.
it's the worst. I don't need an interview. I just don't need that.
Yeah.
It's so much information. I think about the Final Fantasy release date party that they did with Greg and Tim.
And I liked that.
I feel like it was the right amount of time. The interviews were pretty quick.
Yeah, like
It
I think
didn't
that's
feel
how you
like
do.
it was-
Yeah.
But this one was so awkward. I mean, of course, you've got Matt and Trey there, and
Yeah.
people are going to feel like they have to be really vulgar or really shocking to follow up with anything they want to say. But
Got those guys in like the bacon track suits. You're just like I want to buy your game, but you're making me want to not just by being so like over the top. Like your
try
game
hard.
that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing about Sony's conference. They let the games sell themselves. It's like if your game's good enough, people will buy it. Wow, there's a thought. Whoa. It turns out you don't need to bring the devs to talk about how hard they like. Don't get me wrong. Like devs are amazing people. Like to just see like detail. Like I'm playing Zelda and just seeing like the detail. I'm like, who in their right mind spent this amount of time to work on this little thing? Like the details are so important, but you don't do that stuff on stage at E3.
Yeah.
And that's why I love those like the Destiny 2 event or the Final Fantasy 15 event. It's like these are playing to an audience that is dying to know more about these games. Like they're not afraid to spend an hour talking about this one game because the people are there for that one game. Whereas at E3, people are here for every game. So you get 10 minutes max, I think. Like just we're here for For Honor, we're here for South Park, but we're also here for Ghost Recon, and we're also here for Steep or whatever. It's like just balance it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like I asked this question on because they did the $5 up patrons, like the love and respect question or whatever. And like I finally upped to $5. I'm like, yeah, finally, I'm one of the cool kids. And I asked the question, but I was curious what your thoughts. Like, what is your perfect E3 demo? Like it could be fictional. I jokingly said it in the question. I'm like, this can be as outlandish as Konami doing a live demo of Metal Gear Survive and then canceling Metal Gear Survive during the demo. It's like it can be a stupid what is your dream E3 demo? I know it's kind of a loaded question, but it's like you watch that God of War demo, it's like that is the stuff of dreams.
Mm.
I will say this about the God of War demo because I feel like it's a good example of a demo. Because for people who were in the know about God of War, they knew the moment they heard that voice that was Kratos.
And they knew that from the leaks that it was Norse mythology.
They were excited.
Well,
then the reveal, then the gameplay, then it gets to that boss fight, if that's what you call it, and then it ends, and people are like, "Oh, good demo," and it's like, no, we're still gonna keep going.
We got one more thing for you. It's the deer, and you're going to cry. You know, it's like. Like
the wide shot of it showing the world that you're going to be entering into, and they're like, oh, by the way, there's a dragon. So have fun figuring out in your brain what this game is going to be. But if it makes you think about it and makes you try to come up in your own imagination of what this game is going to be, I feel like that's the perfect hit.
Mm-hmm. Literally every time I watch that deer scene, I cry. Like that's that's how you know you have a good demo.
Well, it's funny because like Days Gone came right after that, and like
that was a trailer, and then the demo came later.
The trailer, like, nah, it was just kind of like, you know, I'm having a tough time. Blah, blah,
but then you
blah.
watch the demo, and you're like, oh, this is why I should be excited for this game. Like,
and that's how I felt watching it. And, you know, this looks like another zombie game, but then you watch like, that's a horde of zombies. I've never seen that many come charging at somebody at one time.
Oh, cool zombies! But it's like, no, look at this thing that's happening right now. People made Uncharted Golden Abyss. That was their last game. Like, what? But yeah, I was curious, Adam. Like, is there maybe a less maybe a less not confusing, just a little less loaded question? Is what is your favorite E3 demo that you've seen, Adam?
Honestly, in the last year, Resident Evil 7, if that counts as a demo.
That is awesome. Because that is also because it's a demo and an announcement, and the announcement made the demo that much better, and the demo made the announcement that much better.
Yeah, and you know what it is? You know what the secret sauce is? You gotta plug those leaks. Make sure nothing gets out. Make sure your announcement is the first time people are hearing about this.
Or you can take advantage of the leaks like God of War did. And like everyone knew it was like Norse mythology, but then it opens up with this kid playing with action figures. Just like, what is this? Like, I think I was watching Easy Allies. Like, is this Horizon? No. And then you hear Kratos like, oh yeah, that's what they did. They got me.
Yeah. But in the case of Resident Evil 7, it's kind of doing the PT thing again. You have this kitchen demo. People are like, what is this? I don't know what this is. And you keep it going. Nobody has any idea it's Resident Evil 7 until the reveal. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's all. That is insane. Yeah. Like nobody suspected a thing until people were like, before Kitchen, wasn't Kitchen a Capcom demo?
Yeah.
Capcom demo? I don't know, but this can't be Resident Evil because Resident Evil just doesn't look like this. You know, it's like
maybe it's Condemned or something. You know,
maybe Capcom with a license to Silent Hill. Like who knows? You know, it's like,
It was that trailer or that demo for me. Like, I won't play that game just because I'm a wuss. But, like, watching it, it's just terrifying enough where I'm like, whatever this is, people are going to love it, and they're going to embrace it. And if you're a horror fan, you're getting exactly what you want. And like Adam was saying, you know, from PT. And I thought to myself, like, someone's taking advantage of that and pushing it forward, even if it isn't PT exactly.
Like you're still gonna have guns and whatever, but
but people are going to get what they wanted, whether they knew it was going to be this or not. So now that I think that's why that conference was so good though, because all of the playable demos were relaxed, everything went smoothly. They all really gave the tone of their games well. I don't think you watched it and you didn't get a feel for what it actually was.
You don't watch that Horizon demo, you're just like, that game isn't gonna be like that, no way. And they play it, you're like, whoa, this looks better. Like this is better than the E3 demo. It's like that's how you do. You sell your game with the demo. You set the tone for what the game's. That's why I love the God of War demo. Also, that's probably my favorite demo like of all time. Like not even a joke.
That was great.
Like you set the tone for what the game's going to be. You establish the setting. You establish the characters. You establish their relationships. And that segment might not even be in the game at all, but that sold me on the game because, like, if the whole game is like this, yes, please. Like, yes, please. Like, because that's like you watch that Recore trailer from Microsoft, and it's like we have little cool, like, stylish segments to introduce each of the characters, and it's like, okay, but then you watch the God of War demo, and it establishes these characters that way, and you're like, by the end, you're like, man, I have a legitimate attachment to these characters, and the game's not even going to come out for another, like, year or two. Like,
it's so ballsy because, I mean, they're like, hey, this is a God of War game, but also it's the story of a father and son. Hey, surprise!
It's Kratos' redemption.
Yeah, like, surprise! You weren't expecting that, so have fun figuring that out.
Like, I didn't get into God of War until like a year ago. I started the series for the first time last summer because of that announcement. I'm like, man, I should see what these games are all about. And I played 1, loved it. Played 2, hated it. And then I played 3 and loved it. 2 is the one everyone loves. And I'm like, I hate 2. And 3 is my favorite one. Like, 3 is legitimately like one of my favorite games of all time now after playing that.
Cool.
Like, oh my God, 3 is so good. If you haven't played 3, oh, it's so good. So that just made me even more excited for the new God of War. Is like, because you see that story, like, people, God of War games are notorious for having like kind of light plot or whatever. But then you play 3, and Kratos is a tormented character. He legitimately regrets, the killing his like daughter and wife. He's gone through a lot since his journey, like with Pandora and Athena and like Zeus and all that. So now, like, this is like his son has given him a chance to become a good person, and like you see him start to yell at his son, and then he kind of calms down. I tell you to fire, and it's like, it's so you can see the character development in that 10 minutes. You just see all of the development, and just it's the perfect demo because it just nails everything. It's what God of War fans. It's how you appease God of War fans. It's how you get new God of War fans, like me, and 10 out of 10, best demo I've ever seen in my life.
You know what else made it so good though? That's how you started it. That's how they started that.
Yes, that's a very good point. Yes.
Yeah, and then it wasn't even there wasn't even an intro. You don't have a talking head in front.
Just
doing.
Hammer doesn't scare me.
You got some lady boomboxing with weird drum thing.
Yeah, you brought that up. But yeah, Adam, as you were saying.
Yeah, you don't have the person in front talking about it. This is why we talk to all of our fans and we focus groups, and you know how
now,
that is.
God of War. It's like
blah 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 blah.
Say that stuff for the interviews.
Exactly. Just start. This is how we're gonna start it.
Save that stuff for the IGN interviews. Just Just
Yeah.
don't bother on stage.
Yeah. Don't waste our time.
And like the Kojima thing, that was an example of like how you take advantage of showing someone on stage. It's like this is someone who everyone like almost universally loves, someone we've got, but like you don't know if he's ready yet, and then you show him and he's like, Kojima has been unleashed. Like, cool.
He says, I'm back.
Yeah, it's just like that's all I needed to hear. Just take my money, just
Yeah.
And you show Death Stranding, you're just like, yep, that's Kojima. He's gone full Kojima.
And you know what? Do you remember EA's conference? They had some weird indie game.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the guy was like, we want you to experience this game and discover things for yourself, but here's how it works.
Yeah.
And even Kojima comes out and just says, here's something we made for you. Here's a trailer running in real time. Enjoy it.
Yeah, have fun figuring this one out, fuckers. Like,
I love the Kojima's flat out like, by the way, it's running in real time. This is a real thing. Take that, everybody.
Yeah.
You thought I couldn't do something in a remotely fast amount of time? Then there you go. Have fun.
And then at the Game Awards, he's like, by the way, this is in 4K. And I got Guillermo and Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, but it's no big deal,
And then you see his interviews. He's like, people still haven't figured out what Death Stranding's about. And I kind of like that. It's like Kojima.
Well, you're not telling us, man.
Yeah, even if you give us a book about what it's about, that's not what it's about. So
he watched the interviews. He's like, I want the player to have a stick and a rope to attack people, to drive people away, but also bring them in. It's just like, What is this game like from the beginning of time to like this weird alternate future? Like what is going on? It's
Yeah.
also co-op and it's also an RPG and it's also like I'm just gonna wait until 2021 when this comes out.
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
Yeah. But
When
I'm
he
buying
said
it
Life
day one.
Stranding, though, when he said Life Stranding, I was like, what? Talk
Yeah,
about what?
Kojima's playing mind games.
Yeah. Life Stranding.
Did you watch the Greg Miller interview he did at like
Yeah, I
RTX
did.
Sydney?
If I did, I don't remember it.
It was simultaneously informative, but not informative at all. He's like, I feel like I know more about Death Stranding now, but I also don't know anything about Death Stranding still.
Yeah.
That's his style, though. You know, like that's how Kojima works. I mean,
That's how MGS5 was for like the 3 years they had it like at every E3. It's just like, but what's going on? Is it really open world? What is going on here? And then you play it, you're like, oh, Kojima. There's no story here, but Kojima.
so I do have a concern though this year about E3.
Oh,
How does Sony top what they did last year?
you open with Final Fantasy VII remake.
They have
Final
to.
Fantasy
I'm not even
remake.
I'm not even joking about that. Like
Final Fantasy.
it's been 2
Remake.
years. We've seen it play. Like we've seen demo. Like we've seen screenshots or whatever. It's like come out with a live demo and a release date. Boom. Like oh my
Yeah.
god.
Episode 1, right there. It's
I
coming.
really want to see. I want to see more demo of Final Fantasy VII remake. I want to see more gameplay of that.
Or Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah. They do have Shenmue 3 if it's got something to actually
Shenmue
move forward
HD.
on.
Well, what I think they're gonna do, I think they're gonna shadow drop Shenmue HD because there have been some leaks that say it's pretty much ready, and I wouldn't be surprised if halfway through the show, Yu Suzuki comes on stage and says thank you for all your support. Well, he might not even come on the stage because it's Sony. You don't even know. Like, thank you for all your support. Here's a trailer for Shenmue 3, but we've also got a surprise at the end of the trailer. And at the end of the trailer, it says Shenmue 1 and 2 out now on PS4.
Yeah.
They would be foolish not to do it because I would be at my computer buying it like
How
that.
much? How much? I need to know what Huber is so excited about. Huber's so excited.
Have you ever played Shenmue?
Nope, never had a Dreamcast.
No.
Never had the opportunity.
I played it on Dreamcast when it came out. My friend and I split the cost
baby.
of it. That's hilarious. It's so good. The dialogue is terrible. But
I'm
in
excited
really-
for that reason. I want to play a dated open world game. Like I'm not even
it's-
ashamed. Like I want to play it.
Yeah.
I want it to be dated, honestly.
It's so fun. It's so fun. But yeah, if they give us an HD Shenmue 1 and 2, I will be super ecstatic. Like
I don't even need to touch it. Just release them both on PS4. I'm good. I'm
yeah.
good.
Get people excited for 3
Exactly.
by letting them play 1 and 2.
Exactly. That's why
You
they
have
released
to.
that's probably why they released God of War 3 remastered on PS4. There's like it was before we even knew about God of War, like the new one, and it's like, well, let's just raise public interest by
Yeah.
Everyone's like, why are they remastering God of War 3? Like what? Like why God of War 3? Like why not all of them or whatever? It's like, well, it's just here you go. Like please be excited. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2 would also be a good opener.
Oh man.
Mhm.
Sony's got that partnership with Rockstar, the exclusive content. Open up with like a trailer. Like you don't even need to do a live demo. Like we know what Red Dead is. Like we don't need to be wowed. Just give us a release date, show us John Marston shooting people or whatever. Yeah, we're in, We're in already. They only showed us the cliffs and the forests and the whatever, and we're already like,
Yeah, if we get Shenmue, Final Fantasy, and Red Dead Redemption and
Kingdom Hearts and God of War and Spider-Man, and I don't think they're gonna show
Spider-
Death Stranding again, but I could see that. I could see Spider-Man. I could totally see Spider-Man.
if they would have to show like Death Stranding gameplay to get people to be like, all right, I'm in, like, because right now you can keep showing weird videos all you want. At some point, you got to stop.
Yeah.
I think that's what they've been silent for since the Game Awards. Like, just let's just let people figure it out, and then
Yeah.
because that game is so far away. Like, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if we just don't see it at all until next PSX, or even if that. Like, who knows?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what we will probably see in an unannounced game that we'll probably see is Sucker Punch's new game, like from like the Infamous devs. Like they've been
They've been
Holy-
talking for a while. Yeah.
Like Nate Fox has been like just not saying anything. He's like, we've been working on something, but we can't say. And then Shuhei Yoshida, I think like last E3 that he did an interview. He's like, I played Sucker Punch's new game. It's very good. And like that literally all we know about Sucker Punch's new game is that it's very good. Like, okay, I'm not surprised, but you know,
It's brilliant PR. It's really good PR. Like,
I don't think it'll be Infamous. I think they're done with Infamous. After Second Son, I think it's like, yeah, I think we could just stop making Infamous games and people would be okay with that. Like, I loved Second Son, but it was kind of just like, it felt like you guys have just made an Infamous game for the sake of making an Infamous game.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a new IP. They've got the pedigree to make something really good.
Well,
so
I saw an interview with Nate Fox. It was a long time ago. They said they pitched 3 ideas to Sony when they were initially pitching Infamous. They said, like, we got Infamous and we got 2 other games that they said, like, we won't talk about the other 2 games because we might actually make those someday. So, and they said, like, Sony loved all 3, but we went with Infamous because I thought we'd be I'm scatterbrained. We thought it'd be the most interesting at the time. And so I'm excited. So what are those other 2 games that, you know, I doubt they're going to make Sly. I hope they don't make Sly Cooper, honestly.
I think it's a new IP.
That's people are like, Naughty Dog, just make Jack and Daxter, Sucker Punch, make Sly Cooper. It's like, don't. Their talents would be wasted on those games. Like, give those franchises to someone else. If they're really going to make a new one, give it to someone else. Give it to someone who really wants to make those games, because Naughty Dog wants to make Last of Us, and Sucker Punch wants to make whatever the hell they want to make, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think Sucker Punch, like, it's definitely an open world game, because I actually know that for a fact because I follow them on Twitter, their careers page on Twitter, because it's always interesting when you look up game devs like career page, like what they're looking for, and they're looking for open world content writers, open world level designers, like open world, like they're still looking for open world people. So it's like,
okay, interesting.
This is an open world game for sure.
Yeah,
because the rumor was that they were making Spider-Man, and then last year it's Insomniac. It's like,
yeah.
So what the hell is Sucker Punch making? Are they making a Marvel game, like open world Iron Man game? Please.
Square Enix is doing an Avengers game.
Yeah.
But that's true. That's happening.
So, but if Sony's also got the deal with Marvel, then why not? If it's Insomniac, then why not also Sucker Punch? You know, like why not? You know, both are. I mean, Insomniac's a second party dev, but you know, it's still it's an exclusive game. So
I don't. Anytime it's an open world game, I'm just like, give me something I have never seen before.
Exactly.
Give me something brand new. I mean, and it's hard because it feels like we've seen so many different kinds of open world games, but every once in a while you'll play one, you're like, this is all familiar. Here's a map with a bunch of icons, and I go and do this, and this.
That's how I felt about Ghost Recon after a while. I'm like, I'm having fun, but I'm tired of going to get skill points and weapon upgrades. It's like, I've been doing this for the past like 20 hours, guys. Like, please. And so, yeah, that's why I'm excited for the Spider-Man game. I hope we see a demo or like a game, just gameplay. Or like, I don't even know if we'll get. I think that game is still pretty good because it didn't even have an official title. It was just called Spider-Man. PS4 Spider-Man.
I think we'll see it.
Yeah,
I think we'll see it at E3.
Spider-Man PS4.
I could see it just being called Spider-Man, just Spider-Man.
But it did look like in that trailer there are elements of gameplay in there. That was my problem though. I was having trouble.
Engine, because they showed it at the PS4 Pro event, and they showed like this is all running an engine, and it looks exactly the same as the E3 demo or the E3 trailer they showed. So it's like, so this game will obviously look like this, but how will it? And you see little snippets of gameplay, where like he has the web on like that weird like electrical box, and he swings it into a guy. Like there's little bits and pieces, but nothing raw.
Mm-hmm.
So I just hope it's like Spider-Man 2 on PS2, please.
Oh man, that game was so good.
Michael, let me rescue balloons and accidentally drop people off of buildings. Dude, my favorite thing in that game was like when you got the ability to like grab someone and carry them like a bad guy. I would climb all the way up the Empire State Building and just goodbye, like, and just try to follow them all the way down until you see their body just ragdoll and bounce all the way. It's like, this is just my Spider-Man kills people and I don't care. But like when you see that animation of him flipping through that cafe, you're just like, is that fake? I don't know. Like, will I actually be able to do that? I hope so. But at the same time,
I hope it's not much quick time, but like square, triangle, square. Like,
well, I wouldn't mind if it was like built into the platforming, you know, where it's like Tony Hawk style, like because that's what I've been playing Sunset Overdrive, kind of playing my backlog. I'm like, holy crap, this is Tony Hawk meets Ratchet and Clank. This is so good. Like the platforming in that game is so good. So if you make a Spider-Man game with that same like momentum and speed, yes,
Make it feel good. Just make it feel good.
And that's why I trust Insomniac. It's like
Yeah.
I love Insomniac because they never lie to people really. Like they're one of the most trustworthy devs I think you could possibly find. Where they just they don't bullshit anybody. It's like what you see is what you get. You know, like Sunset Overdrive, Ratchet and Clank, you know, you watch those trailers, you see those demos, you're just like, that looks so crazy fun, and it is crazy fun. Like, it's almost more. I remember watching the trailers for Sunset Overdrive. I'm like, that looks fun, but I don't really know about it. And then I play it, I'm like, this game is way more fun than I thought it would ever be. So Insomniac gets a pass for me. So
Absolutely. Yeah.
what do you like, Adam? Like, do you have any thoughts on Insomniac? Because you seemed a little like lukewarm. Like, oh, you seemed a little surprised that I loved Insomniac so much.
Oh no, I'm not surprised at all. I like they history's a little shaky. They did the original Spyro trilogy. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah,
I love those
I'm in love with those, especially
Give me,
Spyro 2.
give me an insane
Yeah.
trilogy for Spyro, please. But
Yeah.
sorry. Anyway,
Yeah, absolutely. I love Spyro. I actually haven't played Ratchet and Clank.
I never
but a lot
played
of
the
people
PS2.
like it.
but-
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the PS4 one.
Yeah, I played the PS. Like, I think that's why I love the PS4 one so much because I'm like, man, I could really go for like a PS2 era platformer, but adjusted to the modern age. Like that's why
Yeah.
Banjo Kazooie I think was starting to get a little. It's like you guys got what you asked for. You wanted an N64 platformer with all the
Yeah.
frustrations it brings, you know. But like that's why I love Ratchet and Clank because like no, we're old school, but we're adapting to make it fun now, guys. Like
That's exactly right. That's what I love. Yeah, so maybe I should try that. I should try.
I love
Ratchet.
I love the new Ratchet and Clank. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
It's so
Absolutely.
good. Oh, it's so good.
Would love to try that.
Yeah, I definitely. It was only $40 when it launched too. I'm like, are you? This game's
Oh,
worth
wow.
$60, guys. Like, what do you? It was made as a tie-in to the movie, and the movie felt more like a
Yeah.
tie-in to the game because the game was so good. Insomniac is if this is what you do during your free time, I'd hate to see what you do when you just take the gloves off, and that's why I'm excited for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Like, this is-
What else
this-
did they have under the belt? I'm trying to remember.
Sunset Overdrive. They made the Ratchet pretty much just the Ratchet and Clank games on PS3 as well, which I
Yeah,
heard
okay.
are really good. Like I played a little
Mhm.
bit of those, and I enjoyed them, but I was never like a Ratchet and Clank fan. But now I kind of
Yeah, I
want
never
to.
played Ratchet and Clank either.
But they've
Yeah.
always just been very consistently good developers. You know, very
Absolutely.
very true to themselves. So I trust them with Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else? We got Final Fantasy VII. I'm like Adam Boyce on E3. We got Final Fantasy VII, Shenmue 3, Last Guardian. Yeah, it's this E3 has some serious potential, guys. Like
Well, yeah.
from
Yeah.
every party, EA, Microsoft, Ubisoft, Bethesda, Nintendo, Sony. Everyone has the potential to knock it out of the park, but I think the only people who will are Sony and Microsoft and maybe Bethesda.
Every year, I'm just like Nintendo.
Yeah, please.
Just please, just one time, make me love your conference. Make me love all the games you're showing me, and it's just like I've stopped caring. And well, I guess not caring, but it's like
Getting
when
excited.
I think about E3, I'm not even thinking about Nintendo anymore. I mean,
Yes. Well, because it's the blessing and the curse of the Nintendo Direct.
yeah.
Because now they can do a little more in-depth focuses on Splatoon or ARMS or something. It's like whereas E3, their directs are more just like we just have a direct scheduled during E3, but it's not necessarily our E3 direct. Like, but this year it's like you guys, we don't know what Retro Studios is working on. You guys
Mhm.
expressed interest in bringing back Metroid. Albeit it was kind of a misstep with Federation Force, but it teased a new Metroid.
It did.
Yeah, like so I've heard that it teased a new Metroid, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and the very ending it did. Yeah.
So I think it's safe to say it's time. Switch is insanely popular. It's making up
Yeah.
for the Wii U tenfold. Announce a Mario Party. Bring Smash Bros to the Switch.
Yeah.
Make the virtual console, like shadow drop the virtual console, put GameCube games on that bitch. Like just let me play Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on the go. Like, I don't just, you guys can do so much, and it just pains me to see them like, we're just gonna take this opportunity to talk to you a little bit more about ARMS.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
ARMS looks
that-
cool. ARMS looks
that's-
cool, but guys, it's E3, baby.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna bring something though. I
Mhm.
don't know. I got a gut feeling. I think they are
I think
maybe
they
gonna
said
bring back
something.
Metroid.
Well, didn't they say something like, "Don't get your hopes too like we're not going to do a huge E3. We're not going to have a huge presence or something like that." But that might have just been meant like on the floor or something.
Yeah, I don't. I think they meant on the floor. I think they said in another instance that they have some bigger announcements. Like last year, all they brought was Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
That was kind of
forget about that. That was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They got Mario Odyssey
They-
still in the cooker. They got
Mario. Yeah, we can see Mario.
Actually,
Um,
I think they said like this may just be my brain being weird, but I want to say they said like we're going to be talking about Mario Odyssey at E3 or like
They will,
during
but
our
probably
direct.
not exclusively. Not exclusively.
Yeah, but like we're like kind of like how that one direct kind of had a focus on Splatoon and ARMS like a couple directs ago. If you remember,
Right. Right.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this one has more of an emphasis on Mario Odyssey because it is this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need. I haven't committed to buying a Switch yet, but like I need more Mario details so I can commit finally.
Like I've been
Yeah.
playing my Switch and I'm like, at first I'm like, when I bought my Switch, I'm like, I don't know how many games I'll get on my Switch because like I still have I have my PS4 and my Xbox One. You know, like I don't know how much like if I really want a game that on the go and I don't care about trophies or graphics, I'll get it on the Switch. But now I'm like, I've been playing the Switch more. I'm like, give me every game ever on the Switch, please. Like if you can, like. It's
That's
just
portability,
so
man.
nice.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm playing Zelda at my desk, and it's like, yes. Like, while I edit or something, I just pop into Zelda for play a Mario Kart race. It's like, this is so good.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
have Mario Party. Just take Mario Party to someone's house. Just take your Switch, just put it on the table, you know,
Mhm.
give everyone a Joy-Con, and like, let's
Absolutely.
go. Play it outside if you want. Play it at a party, like at an actual party.
Yeah. I just remembered. No More Heroes 3.
Oh, that's
I don't know if
right.
they're gonna bring. Yeah.
And Shin Megami Tensei and Fire Emblem.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that they.
That conference was so bad, I kind of just forgot about everything they announced.
Yeah.
Which one?
The Switch like reveal like
Oh.
conference.
Oh.
That was so bad. Like, oh my goodness. Like we're gonna have a guy shake a control I forget his name, but like I know he's like a super respected guy at Nintendo, but it just felt so dumb. Like here's just like if you don't know anything about Nintendo, you just see a guy on screen shaking a Joy-Con next to his head and like I can feel the amount of ice cubes in this. Like
It may have been the wrong thing to start with.
Like the awkward, like you could lay on your couch and you can
and like you're just like
comfortable,
okay. Like that's
Okay.
that's cool, but did you really need to physically do that? You know, you could have just said that. You didn't need to have snap your fingers and bring a couch on stage and do it. It's like slaves.
Just Nintendo being Nintendo. It's the
Yeah.
kind of weird thing they do.
You forget they're a Japanese company and they do Japanese things.
Yeah, and they gotta give us some real tangible stuff though this year. I mean, somehow
I think
they
they should.
need to be
Yeah.
talked about at E3. They need to be talked about more than just Breath of the Wild.
Also, Zelda was there, or like also Nintendo had a conference instead of like, no,
Yeah.
did you see Nintendo's direct? Like it's got to be up there. You
I
know?
think they really, really, really need to bring the Metroid. I think that's gonna
that's gonna
skyrocket.
make people go like,
I think that's gonna kill it.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
What would, like
It's
It's
Adam?
been so long.
Adam, what could they do for a Metroid announcement that would make? Because I'm not really very. I didn't like Metroid Prime trilogy. Sorry,
really?
shoot me. But I'm
It's
killing.
okay.
I respect that those games
Mhm.
insanely. Like if you love them, holy shit.
Yeah.
like, that I totally get it. But I'm curious. Like you seem like a Metroid fan. Like what would
Mhm.
they? What's your dream Metroid announcement?
Well, actually, I think kind of ties into what Retro's doing. I'm making the guess that they're working on a Metroid Prime.
I've heard they're
Or-
making a new IP, but that could be totally like not.
Yeah,
true.
I don't know.
It could be like
heard
a
lot of
new
conflicting
Metroid
things.
series, or like who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Heard a lot of conflicting things. So I'd love. I've heard rumors that they're doing a kind of like a Sonic thing, that it's like a new 3D one and a new 2D one kind of at the same time. It's just a rumor, but they do that.
I would love like a $20 2D Metroid game that you can just
Sure, yeah.
like why not? Just
Yeah.
hey, here you go. And then have a $60 3D one like 6 months later.
Yeah, Absolutely.
Hey, now you're excited. Now people who bought the Switch who have never played Metroid have a reason to be excited about Metroid, and people who love Metroid have an awesome Metroid game to play while they're waiting for the new another new Metroid.
Yeah, it's double dosage.
Mm-hmm. So, like,
Yeah.
what would you like to see from a Metroid announcement?
What would I like to see?
Mm-hmm. Like, if they were to do something like that, like, what, like a surprise announcement? Do you want to see like Ridley? Do you want to see like just like cool weapons? Like, what do you think?
Well, the thing everyone's talking about, I think a lot of Metroid fans are talking about, they want story-wise a sequel to Fusion, because that was the last game in the chronology and it left on a cliffhanger. And
I don't know.
So that's where the 2D game could go.
It's like Fusion 2.
Yeah, Fusion
that
2.
would be that'd be cool. That'd be really cool.
Fusion harder.
Yeah.
And then for the 3D one, yeah, the 3D one, both Prime 3 and Federation Force had that little cliffhanger ending.
I didn't beat 3, so.
Oh really? Yeah.
I was weird. I played 1. I'm like, I don't know, I'm feeling it. So I played 2, and I'm like, I don't feel it. And then I played 3, and I'm like, I'm not feeling this. So I'm like,
If you didn't like 1, you're definitely not gonna like 2. 2 is like that and more.
I've heard 2 is like
harder.
I've heard 2 is actually like kind of it's still very good, but the worst one out of the 3 is what I've heard.
It's the weakest. I wouldn't say worst, but
sorry. Weird.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's hard. It's like that harder.
Echoes.
So yeah, I think there's 2 distinct story paths they could take at different points in the timeline.
So you'd like to see 2D1 be like, if there were the hypothetical, like, nothing, obviously we don't know this, but if they were to make a 2D1 like $20-$30, on the Switch, you'd love to see Fusion 2 then.
Yeah, follow that up.
And then for 3D, you'd like to see like Prime 4.
Prime 4, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I was curious because I was curious if you'd be open to the idea of them just hard rebooting Metroid Prime and just not even doing Metroid. I know, because like it'd be frustrating because they ended the last 2 Prime games on cliffhangers, but like I wouldn't be surprised if like they got, because Nintendo's weird. Whenever someone doesn't like something, they don't think, let's just try to fix it with the next one. They think, let's just do something completely different. So my fear is that they'll take people's negative reaction to Federation Force to heart and be like, let's just abandon Prime and just start something new. It's like, guys.
Yeah, I don't think so though. If Federation Force started off like before the series was put on hold. It was like an old idea.
Yeah.
Just had bad timing.
Well, and I think it's like, it's that Japanese mentality of we need to make a Monster Hunter style game. Like, you play in the room with 3 other friends, co-op, like, because in Japan it's like huge. It's a huge market just to have like handheld, local multiplayer that you're playing together. So I think that's what they're trying to do with Metroid Federation Force.
Yeah, that was the idea.
And it's just like, that's not something Westerners like. That's just not something we do. That's just not how we play games. If we're gonna play co-op, we do it online, but we only want specific games to be co-op. Like Metroid.
It's weird because Federation Force was developed by a Western studio.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder if Nintendo like told them to do stuff like you need to have it like.
Yeah, because the producer was the same guy from Nintendo.
I watched the newest Friend Code, and they talked about like how when they gave Retro the Metroid license, and everyone's like, "You're giving a Western dev a Nintendo license? Like they're gonna screw it up," and it ended up being like the best, like one of the best games on GameCube. And they're like, "Oh, all right, we're sorry."
Yeah.
It's just, and I wonder if that's because they were so hands-on with Retro, or if because they were so hands-off. Like, you don't know. Like, there's no way of knowing.
I think Miyamoto was really impressed with the engine they were working with.
And a lot of those guys went on to work on Halo 4. Like, they went on to form 343, like all of the former Retro
Really?
guys. If you play Halo 4, you're like, this looks like, if you really pay attention to some of the environments in Halo 4, it feels very Metroid Prime.
Wow, that's really interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So, like, if you ever, for some reason, go back and play Halo 4, like, keep an eye out, like, try to think, like, a lot of people who made Metroid Prime made this, and you'll totally like, oh yeah, I totally get it.
Sure. That's funny.
Yeah, it's because I was playing Halo 4 again because I recently got the Xbox One over winter break, last winter break, and I was playing the Halo Master Chief Collection. I got the 4, and I'm like, I was replaying 4 because I had it on 360. I'm like, yeah, and that was with the newfound information. I'm like, yep, I could totally tell this is like former retro devs.
Awesome.
Excited. Like, I don't even like Metroid that much, and I'm excited for Metroid now. Just thinking of like a potential, but it's Nintendo, so they're gonna probably disappoint me in some way. What about you, Wayne? Are you like attached to Metroid at all?
Just the older ones. But you give me a 2D side-scrolling Metroid, like I'm in. Like, would go buy a Switch to play that. Like, love the original Metroid. Love Super Metroid. Still have Super Metroid. Still play it every once in a while.
I haven't played Super Metroid.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, thing is, I recently played a game like Super Metroid for the first time. It's a little game by the name of Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Oh, that's such a good game too.
I played that for the first time. I played that for the first time like a month or two ago. Oh my god, that game is so good. And it was my first time, and I'm like, people are probably just blinded by nostalgia for this game.
That game is
I just played it. Yeah. I just played it, and I'd recommend it for the Hall of the Greats. Like,
it's one of those things too. It's like, how far has Konami fallen? If you gave me a brand new 2D Castlevania game, don't just reuse the artwork from Symphony of the Night and things like that.
Yeah.
Give me something from the ground up, using newer console technology. I'm in. Like, Konami, I will give you money.
I'll give you money. I told myself I would never buy another Konami product.
Yeah. But I hate you so much, but I would love you so much for that. So,
but like, Symphony of the Night was just like, I realized when I'm playing, I'm like, oh my god, this is like Dark Souls is just 3D Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Like, because there's that steep learning curve when you realize how it works, and then you realize like, oh, if I find, like, I need to explore more and find better equipment and level up and whatever. And now this guy that was kicking my ass earlier, I could totally beat him like right on my first try. And I'm like, if they made like, I wouldn't even mind if Konami made like a Dark Souls clone, but it was Castlevania, like Symphony of the Night 2 or something. Like, like, it's that gameplay. Like, Dark Souls is 100% Symphony of the Night just translated into 3D in like a perfect way.
Team Ninja did it. It worked out for them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, and like, I only played the demos for Neo, but I'm like, this is so good. Like, this is so good. And so it's like, I would love to have a Castlevania game like that, with that aesthetic. Because I'm one of those weirdos that doesn't like Dark Souls but loves Bloodborne. And it's purely because just that change in scenery. Like, that Bloodborne environment is just so much more interesting to me than Dark Souls. And so if you put a Castlevania game with that aesthetic, with Dark Souls gameplay, I'm in. I'm in. That's all I got to do. Get Team Ninja. Like, but they're probably making Neo. They're probably making Neo 2. Like, honestly. Because like Neo was like, that was like wildly successful. Like, it sold way more than Sony had ever anticipated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I think people were just hungry for something. And then that came out at the perfect time, and people were like, hey, this is a awesome game. Like, people noticed it because it was so good.
No, it definitely triggered something in people where they're like, I've been missing this. This is giving me something that I didn't realize I'd been missing.
Like, I'm sad. I'm kicking myself for not buying Neo. Like, because I'm waiting to get like my next paycheck so I can get Neo right away, because like I played those demos and it blew my mind. Like,
it's great. Yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah, it's Souls gameplay, but just I find it way, like, I honestly like it more. I might like it more than Bloodborne, honestly, and I love Bloodborne just because like that raw gameplay of Neo is so good. Like, it's so good, and it's harder than the Souls game, I'd say.
Is it?
Oh. Yeah, because like, you die faster, I say, in Neo than any of the other Souls games, and like, you need to learn combos, and like, it's like, it's like a hack and slash game.
Yeah,
but with Souls style punishment. But man, I don't know. Yeah,
I was gonna say, I gotta go.
I was literally just about to do the outro. And like, I was like, my voice is getting tired. I feel like we've accomplished a lot in this conversation. So it's funny you bring that up, because I was just about to say, like, I think it's time to close. So you got anything to say, Adam?
I got one question for both of you real quick.
Okay, we'll try to answer quickly.
Out of curiosity, what games you playing right now?
Ooh, that's good. I'll let Wayne go first, just because like he's
Just finished the What Remains of Edith Finch.
Oh,
That
Okay.
was a screw to my head. That was a very weird game. I read nothing going into it, so I went into completely blind. Came away with so many questions, but really thought that it did some fun, inventive things that were different. Really got engrossed in the story and really ended up enjoying it and really loving the total experience.
As for me, I've been playing. I just got my Switch this week, so I've been playing Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, having a
Awesome.
grand old time. I've been playing a little bit of Sunset Overdrive here and there, just because like that game is amazing. Catching up on the backlog, and I actually I posted a new video on my channel today. Plug about Rainbow Six Siege. Because I've been playing that lately, and like I've been playing that since launch. I love Rainbow Six Siege so much. Like, if you guys care at all about multiplayer shooters, like haven't tried Siege, like absolutely try Siege. It is so good. Like,
cool.
but it's
awesome.
it's like I love Siege. Like, if you really want to hear more about my opinions on that, you can just watch my video. We're kind of closing out here.
Absolutely. Awesome.
What about you? Just real quick.
I'm doing the backlog too. Got Tales of the Borderlands and Chrono
That's a good
Trigger. Playing them both for the first time.
Ooh.
Nice.
I started Chrono Trigger a while ago, but my save got deleted, and I've been meaning to get back to it ever since.
Get into it. Get back into
Yeah,
it.
I know. I haven't done.
Yeah.
I had to sell my Vita to get the Switch, but I have it on my PS3 downloaded, so
Oh yeah,
I definitely want to.
Yes.
it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
I'm excited to get back to it. But
Mhm.
with that, like that was like I love talking about that kind of stuff. But
Me too.
this was an awesome. I had a fun time. My voice is like about to give out because I just. Sorry if it felt like I talked too much. I just have a lot.
Nah, man,
So-
that was a lot of
It's
fun.
What I want to say. But yeah, thanks guys for like agreeing to come on to this. I know
Oh,
it's
man.
like
Thanks for having
like-
me, man. That
Yeah,
it's
thanks
hard
for
to
having
schedule,
me.
yeah, it's hard to schedule things just because like I know people are busy. Like, I've been
yeah,
talking
sorry
to
I
some
was
people.
late. I was
No,
late.
it's fine. It's fine. Like we're
No
doing it now, so even if your face isn't in it, your voice will be. Hopefully nothing weird happens, and if nothing weird has happened throughout this thing, it'll be on YouTube, and you can find my I'll be my channel is WASD videos on YouTube. Where do you think you? Sorry, let me rephrase that. Where can we find you guys on Twitter or like plug yourselves?
You can find me on Twitter at WLucha, DUBYALUCHA. I also have a wrestling podcast, Spandex Existential Thoughts, every Thursday. Search for it on iTunes.
What was it called again?
Spandex Existential Thoughts. Huge
Nice.
work. Find my Twitter profile. You will be guided from there.
Awesome.
What about you?
And you find me at Adam the Okoa. That's Adam. Each words capitalized. And on YouTube, you can just find me at Okoa.
Sweet. What
Don't
kind of
tweet-
videos
don't
do you
tweet
make?
much though. Nothing.
Uh,
I got some video game rips on my.
if you guys feel like
channel, that's it.
subscribing,
Yeah, if you feel like it.
that's kind of how I'm.
Bother you down.
I'm at like 50 subscribers, and even then, I'm like, what? Like what? Like why is anyone? I don't know. I'm kind of just doing it for fun. Like my other videos, I'm gonna try to monetize, see if whatever. Like it's one of those things. Like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I don't care. I'm having fun.
I'll
And,
subscribe to you.
I'm not monetizing this at all because this is the Easy Allies community podcast.
Right, yeah.
Get back into the outro here. This is not affiliated with Easy Allies in any way. Like they never gave me the seal of approval, the seal of disapproval. This is purely just I had an idea and I wanted to run with it. And this is a show where I find members of the community on the community Facebook page. I think it's called the Easy Allies
Fan group,
fan group official, I think, on Facebook. So you can find me there if you really want to like get on the show, and you can.
Yeah.
I'll make another thread once I exhaust the people on the thread I already made. Which sounds kind of weird, but you know, whatever.
Yeah,
But,
absolutely.
But yeah,
Do it
that's
before Corporate Bossman shuts us down.
or endorses us.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you watch to this, then thank you very much, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time, both the audience
Absolutely.
and you guys.
Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
I'm
Thanks again.
actually, if you're ever like I'm hoping to move to LA at some point in my life, and so hopefully like sometime like at a meetup or someday, or if for some odd reason I join the Allies because of this weird fate that this turns big and whatever. dream, but but I'd love to like just meet the community in person because I think it's legitimately one of the greatest communities on the internet. So
I would too. That'd be awesome.
So thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for listening. And
Thank you.
I'll see everyone.
Thank you.
I'll see everyone later.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye bye.